May I now invite Professor Shane to come on the stage and give us some special remarks. Professor Shane, please.
I'd just like to make a few remarks on behalf of the scientific committee. So we had a long day yesterday, and say the committee was really impressed by the presentations of the students, and we congratulate you for being in the top 15 of a very large group of submissions. It's already a great achievement, and whether you end up winning an award or not, you should be very proud of yourselves. I should say, I was particularly impressed by the poise of the students who were presented with a rather stressful situation. Each student group had exactly 10 minutes, and we enforced the time limit rigorously to present their work. And then there was 10 minutes of questioning from the committee. And so when I was a high school student, that would have been an extremely intimidating situation. And the students handled it wonderfully. They were extremely well prepared. And the groups of students had apparently in advance decided who would answer specific questions in certain areas. So when somebody asked a question, one of the students would step forward immediately and answer it. So it was really obviously a lot of preparation went into that into the presentations. And so congratulations, and I certainly hope the competition helps you in your future. I'm sure that it will. I'd also like to say that if you talk to mathematicians and you ask them what factors were involved in their choosing to become mathematicians, almost all of them will say that there's a high school teacher who was a large influence on their choices. And so I'd particularly like to recognize the high school teachers. You may not realize how important you are for the students, and so it's great. And I hope your schools will find a way to recognize the effort that you put into this. Let me just say my personal background. I was born and grew up in the middle of the United States, actually in a rural area. And I also went to college in Ohio, where I grew up. And I think by the time I was 20, I had never met anyone from China. And so, but then I went to Stanford University into the PhD program. And at that time, which was 1972 when I entered, there were a few Chinese professors on the faculty, not very many at that time. But in my second year of graduate school, Sheng-Tung Yao arrived as a faculty member at Stanford. That was in 1973, exactly 50 years ago. I then began working with him and another faculty member, and you know, we've collaborated for many years, and we've been friends for 50 years, and we're continuing to collaborate. And also in the 70s, when I was a graduate student finishing my degree, something major happened, namely China opened up, and so there was a large influx of graduate students coming from China into the United States. And so for that reason, I had the opportunity to train a lot of Chinese students. And I just looked this morning, and I've trained 47 PhD students over my career, and 20 of them were from mainland China, Hong Kong, or Taiwan. So I've had really a large number of students. Let me say 3 of them are actually on faculty here. There's Frederick Fong, who's been instrumental in this Hong Kong competition. He's at HKUST. And I have Tom Wan, who's also on the scientific committee. He's a former student, and also Martin Lee, who's at Chinese University of Hong Kong. And I should also say it happens that One of my undergraduate advisees at Stanford was Jeff See, who's the current Undersecretary for Education in Hong Kong. So I have a lot of connections with Hong Kong. And let me say that I really sincerely hope that the relations between the U.S. and China improve so that this sort of collaboration can continue into the future. And so I'd also like to say that over the course of my career, one of the major changes, I think, in mathematics is that when I started out, math PhDs normally just became researchers and teachers in universities if they were lucky enough to get a job. And so over the course of my career, the role of mathematics in society has just changed dramatically. My students nowadays have lots of opportunities not only in academia, but also in other areas. And so I really think that it's more important now for students to have a mathematical training for a wide range of areas than it ever has been. And so I think that the activities, the work involved in preparing these papers for the competition will be really valuable for the students in the future. And we've already heard some of that in the panel discussion. And so I would also say that it's important for students to remember that your career is a long-term thing, and that it takes in order to make important contributions in any area, it requires many years of hard work. And for that reason, you have to have a real passion to do it. And so I think it's really important not to be too practical. I mean, you have to balance the practicality with the passion. And so it's really important to, of course, do something that will be, allow you to make your best contribution, but also it's something you have to be really passionate about. It's also important, I think, to be flexible. So things change quickly, and being able to adapt to those changes is also important. And so again, congratulations to the students, and I look forward to the prize presentations.